Thank you for that. That's exactly what it is. But no, this is a little different than it is. A little different. Is an interruption of service. So I was really angry that they didn't see the thing.
Yes, the Thursday afternoon. Some around here, all Wednesday, have sometime, sometime. And Thursday, I got out in the driveway. That would just be late this night. I'm gonna call them back later.
But if you get through,
Yes.
I'm home for an hour and 20 minutes. Just to prove a point that, you know, your customer service thing, there's no way you
Oh, I was just looking to see who was here. I wanted to say hi.
You know, when it gets crowded over here, I can't see over that way. They're just blocking me.
It's crowded.
Okay. No place to go. That's for sure.
So Cheryl
Yes,
says
yes.
that everything went well.
They've had a busy time.
I rode by there. Like I said.
Will you go ahead?
You sit over here by you.
And everything.
Yeah, I don't think all of those. I think all of those.
The houses aren't aged, you know, there's too many holes. There's nothing to sell. That's,
You know that you do something like that.
You know,
Killing squirrels.
Their smoke alarm, we got about 6 or 8 of those.
Wait. Well, you see, they do that. Not to just about 10. Okay.
Thank you.
I put those 10-year items in mine. And the electric now. But I had next to that.
We cannot run out of the Everybody, we'll get started for sure. I said I was
Getting close.
I turned around and said, I didn't know she'd welcome. I just said, I did not stay
There's
there.
one over here about
Where did your son go? What, he living in there?
I know they're gonna move in.
Oh, right. He's changing it up there.
All right, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Hope everybody's doing all right.
Yes.
So today is Monday, February 10th, 2025. This is the City of Camilla regular council meeting here in February. We're here on the first floor at City Hall. And at this time, before, I'll tell you what, I'll do this. Yeah, let me do this during the call to order versus the roll call. Just real briefly, everybody, if you recall, about 2.5 years ago, if you wanted to come and speak here, you had to tell us 3 days ahead of time. And you had to tell us what you wanted to talk about. So if you had a problem this morning, you couldn't talk about it until March. At my request, we changed that. Now you don't have to, if you wake up this morning or on your way home from work today and you feel like there's something that's on your mind, you're more than welcome to come here and speak. The reason why I bring that up is because I want everybody to understand this is not part of a requirement by City Council. City Council is not required to have a speaker appearance. We do it because it's important for our democracy. We have to hear what you have to say, the good, the bad, and everything in between. However, the trade-off for that is that it's done with dignity and respect. That is the only thing that we ask. Beyond that, ladies and gentlemen, come here and tell us what's on your mind. Raising your voice, using profanity, out the street, that won't move anybody on this council, and it surely won't move this mayor. So please, tell them what's on your mind. Say it with passion. Say it with anger if you have to. The only thing that I'm asking you to do, and I think I speak for this council when I say just do it with respect. Nothing more, nothing less. All right. With that, everybody, I'll turn it around. Also, city manager and city clerk Cheryl Ford, call roll, please.
Councilman Marie. Here. Councilman Barley. Councilman Morgan.
Here.
Councilman Collins.
Here.
Councilman Maples.
Here.
Councilman Palmer.
Here.
All right, thank you, Cheryl. And Cheryl, my apologies. Mayor Pro Tem is out of the jurisdiction. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes.
I got you on speaker. And just for the record, it is that you are out of the jurisdiction, correct?
Yes, I'm out of the jurisdiction right now.
All right, thank you, sir. All right. And let me, 1 second, everybody. I'll make sure I'm in the right deal. Turn it. All right, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. All right, Council, thank you for that. I appreciate the hour's patience. All right. At this time, I'd like to turn to Pastor Gilbert to lead us in prayer, please. Pastor, you're more than welcome to come up to the pulpit. Yes. Now, Pastor, you mind saying which church you're from, sir?
Excuse me?
Do you mind saying which church you're from?
I serve as senior pastor of Blooming Light Missionary Baptist Church, Pelham, Georgia.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Absolutely. Simple word of prayer.
Yes.
Heavenly Father, you are all of our fathers. You're the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And you are the one true and living God. We come before you this day, Father. All that we'll ask that you first forgive us of our shortcomings and that you help us to overcome. We come, Father, individual with many wounds, some unhealed issues, other biases and conditions, but God, we also come with conviction and trust that you will give us a lean and understanding heart and mind. We pray, Father God, that you give us all civility, that we may conduct ourselves in a manner that you will be pleased. We ask that you bless, these particular leadership, bless this mayor, bless this staff, bless this council, bless all of these hearts that care about the continuity of this community. And we'll be ever so mindful to give you all of the praise. Effectually in Jesus' name we do pray.
Amen. Pastor, thank you so much. Thank you.
Now, my name was down for prayer and pledge.
Oh, no, you're good. That's, we going back to back. Everybody, Pastor, 9 days. He did it all. That's how we do it. Thank you, Pastor. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Attorney.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council.
All right. All right, thank you, Council, and thank you, everybody here in the gallery. At this time, Council, is there a motion to approve the agenda for tonight? Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is properly second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. All right. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, approval of agenda? Approval. Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. Council, at this time, is there a motion to approve the minutes from the January 6, 2025 work session?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion properly second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, Council, at this time, is there a motion to approve the minutes from the January 13, 2025 council meeting?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion properly second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, Council, finally, is there a motion to approve the minutes from the January 23rd, 2025 council meeting?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion is properly seconded. Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, at this time, are there any speaker appearances?
Yes.
Okay, yes, come on up, sir, please. And just as a rule, everybody has 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Mr. Jones, see if that green light is on that button there on the microphone. If not, just hold it down and see if it pops on for you.
No.
Okay, there you go. Yes, sir. Floor is yours, my friend. Just state your name.
My name's Jimmy Jones.
Yes, sir.
My wife and I own and operate the end of the day bed and breakfast on Bainbridge Road. I'm here tonight because I have so many concerns in reference to all of this situation with the hotel that is being discussed and money's being paid out to get information and such. I've come across some figures that I really question and would like some answers to as we go along. I know I only got 3 minutes, so I'll go as quick as I can. First of all, Cobblestone is a corporation. Why are they not just coming here and putting this hotel up on their own? Why do they need funding? Why do they need information other than we welcome you to the city of Cornell? We have so many things that we need to do before we get to a hotel. We have about as much vacant square footage on Broad Street and down Scott as we do occupied space. What makes somebody think that they're gonna come here and pay the money to stay in a hotel and not have any place to shop? All these plantations around here, as soon as these people fly in on their jets, the limousine takes them straight to Albany or straight to Thomasville, where they've got things to do. As I read through history, Camilla even used to have an opera house. There are so many little things that we need to really look at. One reason is, why aren't businesses coming here to fill these vacancies? Is this because of the utility rates that we possess, that we charge? Some people say, oh, the utility rates are adequate, they're fine. Well, to me, if MEAC is giving us a rebate of almost $1 million a year, we're being overcharged. The utility bill I get every month is in 4 figures. Last month it was $1,345. Guess what my bill said when I got it in the mail? $160. I come up here to pay it. 3rd time this year. Been wrong. The MEAC rebates are really a bone of contention to me because it's something that we already paid in. And now you folks here decide what you want to do with it. All right. The tax rates. Does the business want to come here because of our taxes? Mine only went up 38.5% last year. Now that can be verified, by the way. So these are some of my comments and things that I wanted to just talk about a minute. And then I got information in reference to what we're doing to get this hotel here. We're paying them a $2 million cash infusion to start business. When I started my business 4.5 years ago, I didn't get anything but bureaucracy and red tape. For me to even do anything, I had to go before the Historic Society. When I wanted to put a pool in, when I wanted to put my solar in, and then guess what? MEAC said you have to pay a distributed generation fee. It was only $10 a kilowatt or $100 a month. Fellas, does this sound right? Does this sound fair? Then they don't have to pay any property taxes. They don't even have to pay any hotel taxes. And there's no tax paid on the equipment. I sure pay tax on everything I have to buy. And I sure pay taxes. And the hotel motel taxes are reported to the city every time we have a guest. And Cheryl knows that too, because she sees all that kind of stuff. These are just some things.
Excuse me 1 second. Mr. Jones, your time is up. However, council, if there's no objection, I'd like to give Mr. Jones another 30 seconds to finish up. That's okay. All right, go ahead, sir.
I'll just close real quick in a second. Folks, we need to really think about what we're doing here, what we have to do to prepare to have the proper infrastructure to support a facility like this in Southern. Just do your due diligence, do your conscience, do what's best, because I don't need a $13 million bill to up my taxes anymore. So I have to say thank you.
All right, I appreciate you, Mr. Jones. Council, and typically what we do, we'll let our citizens come and speak, but however, if there's some information that is just not right or is wrong, I think I have a responsibility to make sure, especially the way that the media is these days, if you will, to make sure that that record is clear. So as it relates to Cobblestone, it is true that typically their business model is that private investors are typically who goes in and invest in these hotels, if you will. That is their business model. That is for the most part. What we're doing here at Camilla is fairly unique. And to the point that was made, that hotel, when we talk about property taxes and those types of things, the city, it's the city's hotel, it's not Cobblestone's. So I want to continue to stress that point. The hotel does not belong to Cobblestone. It belongs to the citizens of the city, if it's eventually is approved. The second part is that somebody is passing around some bad information, or they're passing around some half information. That $2 million figure that Mr. Jones mentioned is absolutely positively correct. However, the part that somebody didn't tell him is that there were two numbers in determining what the bond amount would be. $2 million down, capital infusion by the city, as Mr. Jones mentioned, and one without it. The bond and the hotel that is being proposed is without the down payment. Everybody remember when I keep talking about the first 2 years? The first 2 years will be somewhere in the neighborhood, if you just look at the raw numbers, without any of the other conversation about the taxes or the electricity bill, $120,000, $150,000 combined, over about $75,000 for the first 2 years. The reason why that is because there's no money down. If we had put the $2 million up, then we will start year one projected at a profit, if you will. Well, if it's only going to cost $150,000 the first 2 years, $75,000 per year roughly, why would we take, to Mr. Jones' point, why would we take $2 million and pay up front to basically gain $150,000? So that $2 million is not on the table anymore, sir. So the city of Camilla, the citizens of this city will not be putting any money down as it relates to this hotel if it is approved. So I just want to make sure that was cleared up for the record. All right. Any other speaker appearances? Yes, ma'am. Come on.
I'm Janet Craven,
Yes, ma'am.
and I own Eat My Bed and Breakfast. I'm not mad, I am sad what is happening in Camilla. When I moved here, Broad Street was a wreck. We fought so hard to get our depot back to where we could use it. We've paved our streets, we've done our sidewalks, we've put up street lights. It's amazing, because when I came here, my house was condemned. Windows were boarded out, up, broken out, ceilings falling in. I had pigeons, live, dead, skeletons, doo-doo, the whole 9 yards. And I cleaned it up. The city sent me 8 garbage trucks, is how much mess. And I have put thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars into that house. I'm proud of my home. I opened the bed and breakfast 23 years ago. Back then, the city council didn't even know what a bed and breakfast was. I jumped through hoops. I've done everything. I've written letters. I've done everything that I was supposed to do. And I had 2 women come in my shop before Christmas and say they were staying at an Airbnb down the street from me. And I looked and I said, excuse me, there's no Airbnb down the street from me. I said, we have 3 motels, my bed and breakfast, their Airbnb. I said, we've got all that, but we don't have bed and breakfast down the street. They kept saying they were. Well, come to find out, they had come in here and bought that property. They are calling it, they didn't have a business license. They're not getting inspected. They weren't paying hotel motel. We pay hotel motel every month. We have to pay for health department inspection. We have to pay for fire extinguishers, you name it. I have paid property taxes and everything else. I moved here in '74. And actually, the lady that owned the condemned house wouldn't even sell it to me because I was not a criminal person. I finally got it in '76. I am proud of it. It looks good. I keep it up. And I welcome everybody to my field that y'all have there anyway. But I'm not a speaker, y'all know that. But anyway, I'm talking to you straight from my heart.
Yes, ma'am.
I am upset with Camilla. We do not need a hotel motel. With these businesses already that are empty and seeing whatever that one down is, Walgreens, moving out. They're moving out faster than they're moving in. And I have 5 rooms that I use. We stay busy. I can't complain. But I'm very upset with the thought of putting up I call it a silly hotel. I don't think we need it, much less that much money. Nobody has paid me a penny to renovate that house, keep it up, do anything. It's all my money. And I haven't asked for anything. I just pay my taxes and live my life the best way I can with God's help.
That's 3 minutes, but if you, council, no objection, let's give Ms. Crane another 30 seconds. You finished? Okay, thank you. And once again, everybody, just to make sure that the record is straight. So if there's an Airbnb here in the city of Camilla, as part of the agreement with, not necessarily the agreement with the city of Camilla, but just the way that Airbnb and some of these temporary rentals work, we have checks that pop up every month for the taxes for those. So if someone,
Well, they weren't doing that until I called the kitchen.
no, ma'am, this has been happening for the last couple of years. So again, I just want to make sure the public understands that. If you use Airbnb site, Verbo, or anybody else like that to rent your property out here in the city of Camilla, if you use their website, that cost that whoever's renting that property is embedded, the taxes are embedded in that cost, and the city of Camilla receives payment for that.
But what I said, I'm
Okay,
not
all
under
right.
that. This is just me.
No, I'm with you, ma'am. I just want to make sure that the record is straight. So I just wanted to correct that. The second thing as it relates to the Walgreens. Walgreens here in Camilla, along with 1,200 other stores nationwide, are closing. So I just want to make sure that folks understand this is not just a Camilla thing. This is a Walgreens corporate
What do you
decision.
tell them, sorry,
Ma'am.
closed.
Please. So again, I just want to make sure that everybody understands that. Okay? Lastly, as it relates, and I think Mr. Jones, Ms. Crane, I think they bring up some great points as it relates to why folks really need to come to these meetings. Because the information that is passed daily, understanding why we're undertaking this hotel as it relates to economic development and the reasoning and the logic behind it, whether agreed with or not, those questions has already been answered. And I suspect that as we continue down the road of getting closer to making the decision of whether or not this bond will be approved, there will be more conversations related to the hotel and the reasoning for doing it. So I would like for everybody, A, to stay tuned, and B, if you can, come to these meetings, and especially when you hear us advertised for the URA meeting, to show up for those to hear from that information. So, all right. Any other speaker appearances? Come on up, friend.
Yeah, I think some of the things I was gonna say maybe have already been said, but get it done. I'm on Bacon. Camilla. And Mayor Owens and city council members, I am concerned about the hotel in Camilla. And this feasibility study, Mayor Owens, is this the only source of determination that this is a good place for a hotel? If so, I do have concerns. The analysis in this study was based upon certain assumptions, which, in my opinion, are flawed. First, the proposed site is not a prime site. I addressed that last week. Second, the city has not spurred development and revival in business downtown. The Dixon building is vacant for a year now. And then we have Scores. There isn't a restaurant proximate to this site. And additionally, I don't think that businesses look favorably on the assumption that the hotel will not pay property taxes. And even though the mayor's already addressed that, I'm throwing it out there. And you've already said that about $2 million is not there anymore, so I won't go into that. This study is a comparison of leisure, the corporate, and the group. We will not pull business from cities that were in the study. All of these were larger than Camilla. We do not have the demand generators to give anyone a reason to come to Camilla. But let's take a look at those quickly. In the leisure area of Moultrie, which is the town that's closest to our size, let's go from the Farm Expo, the annual automotive meet, the Calico Arts and Crafts Show, the Spring Fling, the lights at Thanksgiving, and the Festival at Lights in December, just to name a few of their events. And I don't need to say anything about Albany and Thomasville, because y'all know that. If anyone is coming along here, passing through leisurely, they're gonna be looking for someplace on 19, so they can just sleep and get up and go the next day. On the corporate side, you have stated that there are businesses that have to send their associates to other cities because we don't have a place for them to stay. I'd like to know who these businesses are. How many people do they actually send elsewhere? And why are these owners not here speaking up for the need of a hotel? Maybe it's because there is no need. As for the group segment, anyone coming to Camilla for reunions or such will stay with family or find the cheapest clean place to stay because there'll only be a place to stay the night. Council members, have you actually read this?
Council, without objection, I'd like to give Ms. Davis another 30 seconds to finish up the thought. Well, she's probably a good thought right there, so go ahead and finish up, my friend.
Have you actually read this study? Have you read the feasibility? I encourage you to read it very, very carefully. If this is what you're basing our success on, I feel like we're in serious trouble. I have trouble reading things on the computer, so I have some copies of this feasibility study right here. I read it, I studied it, I made my notes. Now, I have them here, and I'll be glad you have them. Mr. Collins, do you need one? Take one. Mr. Maples?
Yeah, I did.
Mr. Palmer? Okay. Mr. Morgan?
I'll turn it into the clerk. This is
You need one?
No, ma'am, I've read and studied it myself as well.
How about Mr. Burley, would you like me to leave you one?
All right, so you're aware that, and I can appreciate handing this out, if you will, but you are aware that this is available to all council members and have been. But I appreciate you bringing a copy, though.
I know, it's online, but I don't know about you, but I can't read and study all this mess online. So I run it off so I can highlight and make my notes.
And again, we have a few minutes.
Yeah, well, that's fine,
All right.
okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And I have any, if anybody else wants any, I'll be glad to give them to them.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please, and I want to put this into record just in case we want to evaluate the mayor's pro tem's time. I just want to make sure everybody understands, just real briefly. Here in the state of Georgia, every council member is allowed to call in or to participate remotely in council meetings twice a year, as long as they're not in the city of Camilla. The fact that the mayor pro tem started outside of Camilla is now back in Camilla. Madam Clerk, I want to note for the record that Mayor Pro Tem Burley arrived at 18:30 or 6:30 p.m. And the reason why that's important, because we're gonna, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, evaluate with the city attorney whether or not that county issue you're one of your 2 times per year. The fact that you actually showed up for the meeting during the process. So we'll go ahead and do that. Everybody, just real quick. Every instinct in my body says, Mayor, keep it moving. But again, everybody, when I hear certain things, and especially when it is transmitted out here to the public in such a way, I think I owe it to the community to put this out here. And I think Ms. Bateman is spot on. The citizens of this city paid for this feasibility report. And obviously, if you haven't seen it, if you will, I think it is good reading. Now, I don't know what Ms. Bateman's or anybody else's training is as relates to determining whether or not a hotel would be feasible in a municipality or not. What I can tell you is that the folks that did this study for us have decades of experience doing this. And this report right here, market study and financial projections, proposed 54-unit Capstone Hotel, Camilla, Georgia. This report is nearly 40 pages long. 12-point font, single space. There's a tremendous amount of information in this document that alerted the URA that the projections would indicate that, not counting the first 2 years of operation, that the projections would show that this is a viable project, if you will. And as folks are talking about the businesses in other cities, all of this, as you can see here, the Albany Economic Area, Miller Coors, Albany State University, Southwest Regional Airport, Albany Economic Area, Georgia, United States. All of this was plugged into the overall annual job growth, employment by industry, employment by non-agriculture industry by the thousands. This is from Mitchell County from 2018 to 2023. Now, I don't know if Ms. Bateman or anybody else took their study back 7 years or not. The folks that we hired to do this feasibility study, that's what they did. Neighborhood. An outline of cobblestones. Again, everybody, this will be the first cobblestone in the state of Georgia. So not only did he take into account what happened here in Georgia, also what has happened at the hotel in Foley, Alabama, Cozad, Nebraska, Newport, Arkansas, Pecos, Texas, Paxton, Illinois, Austin, Minnesota. So not just Moultrie, Albany, Thomasville. The brand itself was evaluated and whether or not it would make sense. Orville, Ohio, Wickenburg, Arizona, on whether or not it would be feasible. You see right here on page, so if somebody comes to get a copy, page 15 starts the supply and demand analysis on whether or not it would be feasible to have a hotel here. I'm not going to go all obviously over this entire deal, but here's what I would tell the public to do. If you are concerned, and the thing that I really do appreciate Ms. Bateman doing, is actually getting the document and reading. I think that is extremely important, and I'm very happy to hear that. So just want everybody to know that this is available. Citizens paid for it. It's yours, if you will, and you are more than welcome to it. All right. Any other speaker appearances?
Would it be possible to make a comment on the report?
As a council member, well, I'll tell you what, we've already, set the standard, I think, about a year ago, that the speaker appearances extends to council members. So if you want to take 3 minutes,
I would.
knock yourself out, my friend.
If you might turn to page 2 of the.
No, we're not doing that.
Oh, okay, I was just gonna point out.
You're more than welcome to reference,
Oh,
anything we need to,
all right.
yes, ma'am.
On page 2, on this report, and I read from the report, and it says that, in accordance with our agreement, we have prepared a feasibility study and projections that are contingent with Cobblestone Hotels to be located in downtown Camilla. And it says, our analysis is based on a few broad assumptions as follows. And this is page 2, the very first page that they say. All right, the property will occupy a prominent site. The property will have an expanded wine and beer bar, 52 rooms and such. Number 3, we have assumed that the property will be proximate to a restaurant. Number 4, the city of Camilla will provide a $2 million upfront cash infusion. Number 5, the property will not be subject to property taxes. Number 6, the city's room tax, which amounts to 5%, will be applied towards the property's funding. And the last one, the property will be subject to bond financing. So their study was done on the basis of that $2 million according to page 1. Also, it says our field work was completed on June 11th and 12th, 2024. Now, I don't know if that means they just did 2 days or not. But 2 days for $13 million is not enough time spent. So that's all I have to say. But again, I'm just reading from the study itself, and I have read it. I promise you, I have read it and studied it and done my own, and I think this is a bad idea for the city. Thank you.
All right. Yes, sir, please, absolutely.
Have my 3 minutes.
Yes, absolutely, yes, sir.
To add on to what has been said here tonight, that study is, to me, got holes all in it, because it's just got everything. If you know anything about real estate and development, that site down there has got to be, without a doubt, the worst site you could pick, number 1. And the fact that, the city is involved in this, not private investors, that tells me that if a private investor can see that they can come here and make money, the city of Camilla would not have had a shot at it. And apparently, they're not interested in Camilla. There are other towns that I'm aware of. I have friends in different places around, and they have made presentations at other towns similar to Camilla. They all turned them down. They're not interested. They've made presentations to larger towns. They were not interested as well. Told them to go get private investors, and we'll be glad to support you. And the other comment about Walgreens, I'm not interested in the 1,199 other Walgreens in the towns where they're located. I'm interested in Camilla, Georgia. They're closing up. They're leaving. Like 50% or more of our downtown is vacant. What does that tell you?
So we had an opportunity to go ahead, Bucky.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
But myself is hard, and I have that time to sit here and type these are fresh thoughts. But I hear these responses and I empathize with a lot of the expressions that are being shared here. And I feel like I empathize with these feelings so well because I too shared these same sentiments upon returning to Camilla for my opportunity to further my education back in 2017 to find the state of this city in roughly the same way as it was when I had left at 18 in 2013. And not to mention the lack of development and investment in the 15 to 18 years before that. And those are just my short 29 years on this side. And so I'm certain that there are others here in Camilla, many older, wiser, and with deeper roots that have endured similar. We did hear some of that from some folks who moved here in the 70s and did not receive the investment that they hoped from the administrations that sat here then. But who have experienced worse experiences. And the majority of the residents here in Camilla have faced, and this is a fact, have faced systemic barriers that have stifled the investments here in Camilla, that have limited these opportunities that have been spoken on tonight, and just hindered the prosperity outcomes for a lot of the residents that still live here today. So you're absolutely right to share these frustrations with Camilla, because the majority of these leaders, and we had a leader in the community come and speak on his grandfather. Well, his grandfather and that same leader continue to fail you in this county and in this city. So you're right to have frustrations, but please learn where to begin to channel those frustrations. So I know that I took an oath to ensure that the future of this city, the youth that are living here now, do not have that same experience that I've had growing up here in Camilla. And I'm happy about the decisions that we're making. I think that they come with a lot of thought, a lot of great intention. And I truly thank you all for sharing your comments, but I promise that we're up here doing what's best for this community. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No, thank you, sir. Anybody else? 3 minutes. Okay, yeah, come on.
I'm from Jess. I live here in Camilla, Georgia. I just want to say that I think that it's a good idea to bring a hotel here, hotel here, because the ones that we have on 19, they're all ran down, and I visited two of the motels about 2 weeks ago, and they're ridiculous out there. It's like season workers there, and it's like they got a clothesline where they hang clothes. It's not a decent place to stay out there in either one of those motels. So I think that it's a great idea for them to bring a motel here. A lot of people that come home for family reunions, my family, they never have anywhere to stay. Even when they come home for alumni, a lot of things that they come home for, they have nowhere to stay. They have to go to Albany or Thomasville. So what's wrong with a 54-room motel coming here? There's 54 rooms. Everything that they bring to Camilla, it seems like people always have something negative to say about it. But the citizens most of the citizens that are here are proud of everything that's been coming to Camilla. I know that I have, my kids have, my grandkids, they love the park, they love everything that's been coming here. So I just want to know, what is the problem? Is it because majority of the citizens, city councils vote on it? And I really just want to know, what is the problem? Everything that comes here, y'all have a problem with it. You all have a problem with it. So I just want to know, what is the problem? Because everything that's coming here is good for the city of Camilla. We've never had none of the things that are here now. That's all I have to say.
There you go, that's our theme day, you like to say that. You say your family can't stay here, they can stay here anytime, right?
Well, you should have brought the Airbnb to let people know that it was an Airbnb here.
We've known that for a long time.
Ladies, please, thank you. I
Only for
appreciate it.
certain people.
All
I appreciate it.
people.
All right. So just real quick, since we got a short agenda, we're gonna give you a quick brief, real quick. First off, Councilman Palmer mentioned that he said half of the downtown is vacant. I would argue a little bit with that, but assuming that statement is true. Councilman is the longest service member on this council. He's been here longer than anybody else. He's also the chairman of the Downtown Camilla Development Board. He's also the chairman of a few other authorities here for the city of Camilla. So that question, what I would say is, that is probably more of a conversation for himself versus for us. For the last 2 or 3 years, a majority of this council Here's what we've done. We built a new community resource center that will house the Boys and Girls Club. A brand new gym. We're going to be breaking ground here in the next 30 to 45 days. $5.1 million to replace the one that we had before. Schools. Potential of this hotel that is coming downtown. Everybody, you have to understand that when you're talking about economic development, and I believe someone mentioned earlier that it's not a prominent place, if you will, talking about the location of the proposed hotel. Well, here's the reality. If you're looking at it today, I could probably see that. But the problem has been we have not had an opportunity, or some folks have not had an opportunity to have the vision to think beyond the day. That is a problem. And then some folks, somebody said here this evening, oh, well, there hasn't been any progress or the innovation hasn't been there. I want to remind everybody that the city of Camilla was one of 6 cities in this entire state just 2 years ago that was designated a visionary city by Georgia Trend Magazine, the business magazine of this state, and the Georgia Municipal Association that represents all 527 cities in this state. We were one of 6 that was deemed visionary because of the very things that many are talking against tonight. Just a month ago, for the first time in this city's history, have you heard our name being proclaimed at the state capitol in front of a House of Representatives? I put the video on Facebook so everybody can see. That has never happened before. This is a direct indication. Okay, can I get about 15 more seconds? This is a direct indication of the work that we are doing in this city. Unfortunately for some, as this Jess pointed out a minute ago, there's a silo of folks, same voices, unfortunately, that talk about what we're not doing. But all you have to do is drive outside of here, and we got some great supporters in this town. But we're getting recognized all around this state for the work that we're doing. So I'm very confident, and I think I speak for the majority of the council, for the votes that we've taken to help move this city forward. All right, from the gallery, any more speaker appearances?
I don't know.
No, sir, there are no rebuttals.
Well, you spoke.
No,
I will
sir,
speak.
I didn't take 3 minutes, sir.
But I'm not taking.
No, sir, you do not have the floor.
All right.
I like 2 minutes.
Yes, sir.
I was born and raised in Camilla. Camilla is not just a farm town or agricultural place. We have a lot of white people living in Camilla. If we utilize the airports, just the airport, we just be as productive as any other town around us. So we just have to utilize what we have. And I think that's a great idea to bring industry into Camilla. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Well, I'm gonna make
Sir, you do not have the
I'm
floor.
gonna
You do
speak.
not have the floor, sir.
Well,
Any other comments?
Speak.
Yes, sir. Any other comments? All right, Council, let's move on. All right. First action item. Council, if you don't mind, I want to move this around a little bit because Councilman Palmer asked during the work session about adding and he had 2 other council members that agreed with him for the consideration of contract with the county. I think it's important that we move that to number 1 to see if the council wants to do that before we get into the considering nomination for election superintendent for the city of Camilla. So with that, council, is there a motion to contract with Mitchell County to conduct the elections for the city of Camilla? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion that's been properly seconded. Any discussion?
I have.
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me. I just have 3 points from my personal experience in this last election. I was not around before then. But when I came in to vote, myself and 4 others in the room.
Excuse me.
uh,
My apologies.
I'm six.
Don't lose your thought now. When you came in to vote, yourself,
And 4 other people in that time frame received the wrong ballots. And it happened 16 more times that I know of that day. So again, myself, 16 others that I know of received the wrong ballots. In my personal experience with, as a candidate, absentee ballots, over 70% of my constituents received improper absentee ballots in the mail. That's point one. There were mistakes that I'm personally involved in that I know of. I went to court myself in litigation because I was challenged. It was called an election challenge, and I was the plaintiff. I had to go to court. Now the suit was dismissed, but I believe it has the opportunity for appeal, and we've got several days before we'll know if it's done or not. But I don't know if suing is the word or not, but I was required to go to court as the plaintiff in an election lawsuit. My third reason for thinking it's probably a good time to let the county take this over is there's an active criminal investigation into our last election. So those are my 3 reasons. I just think that mistakes were made. I was forced to go to court, and this is still, past one is still being investigated, and I think it would be a good idea to let the county take over. That's all I have. Thank you.
all right. Yes, sir.
To add on to, what Ms. Perrine said is certainly the, part of what we're asking for, and the main thing is the last election lacked credibility, and that, shows the citizens, that they don't have confidence in the election process for the city of Camilla Hamlin. It needs to be changed so that the county does it, take it out of their city hall and have other independent people doing it. And until that is done, there's always gonna be a cloud on any election that's held in this town.
All right. Any other comments?
Yes, sir. There was a lot in these responses that I've heard. I'll start with the cloud that is covering this town. And apparently this cloud has only been here since a different demographic makes up the majority of the city council. Secondly, we've historically managed our own elections in the city of Camilla in the 150 odd years that the city has been incorporated, and I find great value in doing so. And very often have the past leaders opted to break tradition of that. So I don't see any need to continue to do that any further. And then lastly, a lot of folks in this town and around this council talk about being fiscally responsible. This council actually just paid a pretty penny federal ARPA dollars to purchase new, innovative, and advanced election equipment for this city. And so I don't see that as fiscally responsible to just go away with that and turn something over to the county. So I will not be supporting this.
The equipment, there seems
Let's
to
just
be,
one
I'm
second.
sorry, I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, I also agree with Councilman Morgan. We have been running our own election all the time I know here in Camilla. A couple of years ago, this council, the majority of this council decided to upgrade and go to a better system, just as the county have. And I thought that was a great idea because we was handwriting them in, penciling it in. It took all night to get results. Because I know back in 20, I stayed here probably about 12 o'clock, or 11 o'clock, somewhere around that time, to get the results for the election. But, I feel that, if we're gonna spend money like that and it came from opera to sustain and make our election better, I feel that we shouldn't change. We should stay where we are. And, I will be supporting to maintain it here in Camilla.
Indeed. Yes, sir.
Can I ask, and Cheryl, you may know the answer to this question. I don't want to put you on the spot, but when we came in to vote, the voting person had to punch a code in by hand when we voted here. When you voted over there, that didn't happen. So I asked, and I was told that we were missing a component.
Poll pass.
I'm sorry.
Poll pass.
Oh, okay. So would that improve the system? How much more does it cost? I'm just curious that, you hand your driver's license, they scan it there, and you're paying, good to go. So I don't know.
I think you are correct as it relates to Cheryl being able to do this a little bit more, but you need to understand that battle has been happening now for about 2 years. But go ahead, Cheryl.
So we have tried unsuccessfully, I've had my Dominion representative assist me to get poll pads. It's very difficult to get in contact with that company. So yes, you're right, when you come in, we actually punch a code in, those codes are provided to us by Dominion. I do not program the equipment. So everything that goes on with that equipment is programmed by Dominion. So they were off on their codes, which they were off by 1, so we didn't start at 1, it started at 2. So every ballot was off by 1. Sometimes it didn't matter, but sometimes it did. When I discovered the error, I immediately had them come on site and they corrected it.
So this piece, whatever, the poll pass, all right, is it expensive?
I'm not sure, I can't get anybody to give me a price on it. We've been trying
We don't know.
every the equipment.
Yeah, it would be, the original cost on it, it's not expensive at all. The problem has been for 2 years, literally, for 2 years. Cheryl has tried, previous city managers tried, they finally got with me to see if I were to call and, the mayor's on the line. Can we get some help? For whatever reason, can't get anybody to get back.
To get that piece.
To get that piece. So unfortunately for us, we've had to do
Because we're
it
still doing the marking off thing like you're talking about, when you come in, it's still
There will be.
by hand until you get, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, that, like I said, I wanted to ask about that, because, that was something that was,
And I had
told me with my fix and stuff.
Yeah, I had a conversation with the Dominion rep no less than 2 weeks ago, and she's gonna reach out again, because there's a new representative for this territory to see if they'll call us. I don't know if it's because we're so small, we only need like 4. We'll need 2 here, and then on election day, we'll need 2 at the other precinct. Typically, they're probably selling them at 20 or even more, because everybody's much larger than we are. So maybe, maybe it's because it's such a small quantity, I don't know, but it has been very challenging trying to get somebody that can get these poll pads.
Well, like I said, I just
No.
told by, I don't even remember, if y'all have it, doesn't it? So I thought I would ask about it, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And just to clarify, you did eventually get the right ballot to vote on, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just want to make sure. Yes, sir.
I think we ought to contract with the county also. We, for a lot of the reasons y'all have said, and looks like we can't get the right stuff, they have the right stuff, and we can always change back. So I don't see why we don't go ahead and do it and use, they've got the same equipment we do, plus the things we actually need to make it do right. So I think we ought to vote with them.
What about a suggestion of asking the county to allow us to use poll passes?
Well, I considered that. I was gonna borrow somebody to Taylor County, because they're, obviously we have ours in odd and theirs is in even, but there's something to do with the download. It may be a little tricky, but it may be a viable option.
Right.
I mean, we can pursue that just to see if it'll work, for the upcoming election, if y'all choose to keep it in-house. Or even if I could buy used ones, just, if I can just get 2 of them. Not 4, just give me 2. I'll put 1 in each precinct. whoever's elected.
And those devices don't need to be programmed.
Well, you have to download the electorals list into it because it actually programs a card that you come in and insert in the machine. So, yeah, and I don't know the logistics of that. Will the same company that sells will be the one responsible for getting the information in there as hard as it is to get in contact with them right now? That kind of concerns me.
Ready to call the question?
Well, let me just point out a couple of things. I think Mayor Pro Tem and Councilor Morgan were absolutely correct. I think that there's elements of ARPA that in terms of the overall infrastructure of how we conduct our elections related to the logistics of how the elections are done, not necessarily directly related to that, but some of the facilities that we've used, the old position over there at the, that just got renovated over in Chester, I believe. And then obviously some other stuff. So ARPA in that sense, indirectly of the elections. However, what is direct is the SPLOS. So the SPLOS is what paid for the machines. But I want to remind everybody, and I think this is a point that some of my colleagues are missing around the table, especially the ones that were here when the council voted on the elements of SPLOS. And what that was is that we added the language. It's not just the people, the majority sitting around this table. The people of Camilla voted for that. Everybody understand that? The people said, we want election machines, not just 4 votes around here. The $50,000 or so that paid for those machines that we have upstairs were paid for with SPLOS funds. By law, we have to tell the citizens what, if you vote for this extra penny, we have to tell the people of Camilla, if you vote for this extra penny, this is what we're going to use this money to buy. On that SPLOS election that was done at the county, you didn't vote for that here. At the same time that all of the other cities in the county, when we voted for SPLOS, that was done across the street. The citizens of this city and the county, overwhelmingly, that's why we're receiving those monies now. SPLOS also pays for our fire trucks, our police cars, but we had to list what we're going to be buying. Election machines were on it. This was the people's decision, in conjunction with the majority of the council. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that. And from my perspective, if the people said it's time to go to electronic vehicles, that's where we need to stay. As it relates to the logistics and some of the other stuff that has transpired, specifically over this last year, that's a whole other conversation as it relates to how we got picked. But what I will say, it appears that this council, we're moving forward as it relates to that and some of the other conversations, if you will. So with that, everybody, I think it's prudent, not only for the majority of the council that voted for it, but also for the citizens that voted for it, that we continue to have our election in-house, as Councilman Morgan pointed out, as we have for the last 150 years. I think that's the way that we are to continue to do it. So I yield. Absolutely. Well,
Okay, I'll say.
yes, ma'am. Thank you. And everybody, and the reason why Cheryl said that, and God bless her, right? But when folks talk about that, we're talking about Cheryl's our election superintendent in 2023 and our assistant election superintendent in 2024. These are people. And we start talking about integrity and clouds. These are not random words. These are folks you're talking about that have performed honorably for many years for this city. And I think the majority of us know that. All right. Any other comments? All right, council, again, the question is whether or not consideration of sending or asking the county or contracting with the county to conduct the city of Camilla elections. We have a motion, it's been properly second. We've had discussion. Madam Clerk, let's do a roll call.
Councilmember Green,
I want to make sure I'm voting. I'm a yes, contract with the county.
There you go.
Okay.
That's right.
Councilman Barley,
No.
Councilman Morgan,
No.
Councilman Collins,
Yes.
Councilman Maples,
No.
Councilman Palmer,
Yes.
Mayor votes no, motion fails. All right. Item 2, relating to the nominations of appointing an election superintendent for the city of Camilla. Council, is there a motion? At this time, are there any nominees, and council, just understand this, that with this nomination, the idea would be that if there's an approval of a nominee for election superintendent, this will come with a $500 a month salary. And this will continue at least through the November election. So that would start, if approved, or the nominee is approved, if you will. That would start immediately after this individual is sworn in, and all of the other prerequisites that need to happen prior to that. So just understand that, for the record, that if you make a nomination, that what I'm recommending is that this individual be paid at $500 per month for that service.
I don't
If you will.
remember the last one being paid that much.
Yeah, it was 300 the last time. I think, well, what we have done, and I appreciate you bringing that point, Councilmember, is
Will there be two still?
No.
One and an assistant?
No, ma'am.
Just one person?
Yeah, just one person. And that is the justification, if you will, for the increase of the pay. And to ensure that there's going to be some extra stuff that that this individual is going to have to do, especially, as Councilman Palmer pointed out, as it relates to the confidence of people and this type of thing. That we're going to make sure that this individual gets everything that he or she needs to move forward. And I think to make sure that we do this correctly, this individual has to be compensated.
Okay, so, is there a timeline rush that it has to be done tonight?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Yes,
all
ma'am.
right.
And
There was a girl that spoke last week, and she was very well spoken.
Sure.
But I didn't know if there's anyone else, and, so I just didn't know how many people were out there interested in the position.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I asked the council that if you had any nominees, to make sure you bring them here tonight.
Right.
But I want to just correct something. It's not necessarily a rush. It's not necessarily that there's a rush that needs to happen. It's February.
It's in November.
It's in November.
Right.
So the timing is right. We need to get started.
That's why I asked.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, so I wouldn't characterize it as rush, but we have to get started.
But when she goes, well, there's some new.
I trust
him
him more, so I think it's very beneficial
She'll
for
be done it forever.
that person to get in on that training, so I would recommend it.
No, trust your word.
Oh, no.
Sarah says we gotta do it. I'm gonna go
No,
with it.
it's fine. I just want to clear that up for the guy with all the paper and ink. I just want to make sure.
Well, and sometimes there are deadlines, like I said, there's a training in March, and that's 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that would hit.
But there's
I
training in
just want to make sure I clear that up. Yeah, so council, that's the recommendation. But obviously, any council member can make another recommendation as it relates to the pay. But if there's a nominee,
Does she live here? I've never met her. The
well,
girl, Miss Bell, I wonder what.
yes. Yes. Ms. Bell. So in terms of the other information, that is something that, I think she mentioned that, during her deal, but that's, yeah. But again, that's why I said a week ago,
Right.
for everybody to do their thing.
I remember this thing.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. So, all right. So again, you can make a nomination, but if you make a nomination without a price attached to it, if you will, that's the recommendation, that the pay be $500 per month, for that. So at this time, council, are there any nominations for, and what I'll do, just to make it easy, I'll start at each council member. So that the see if we can go step by step, so no one has to rush into it.
Okay, okay, so before we were paid 3,
Yes,
okay? I just don't know what all was entailed.
sure.
But is that the recommendation of everybody that they think that is a reasonable amount? I'm not familiar with. Do we know what other people pay their election superintendents?
No, so that's the recommendation for the city of Camilla.
Okay. And I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
Yeah. The goal would have been that those types of questions would have been happening over the last week.
Okay, and I'm sorry, like I said, I
If you would-
did not do it, but that was my only question. If
Okay.
that's your recommendation, and everybody feels the same way, I do not have a person in mind.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. All right. Mayor Pro Tem Burley, do you have any nominations?
Well, I do have a nomination, and I would like to make that nomination. Mrs. Maggie Bell.
Okay.
With the presentation on last week was very informative, and she had some years of working in the department, and I feel that she would be eager and willing to serve in that position. And also, I think that she would be fair in doing her job.
Councilman Moore, any nominations?
Yes, sir. The same set of events, on Thursday, January 23rd, myself, council members, Burley, and Councilmember Maples did receive, a letter of interest email, from Ms. Maggie Bell. And again, that'll be my nomination, and if this is the proper time, I would just like to read that letter into the record. Didn't know if we were doing discussion or not.
Yeah, so nominations are a little different.
Okay.
But what I'll do is, we'll see what other nominees that we may have.
Okay.
And then when we get there,
Okay.
and that'll be for the vote,
Gotcha.
if you will. So this is the nomination process, but we'll actually get to the action of appointment.
Okay.
Here in a little bit.
So yeah, Ms. Bell is, my nomination.
Perfect. Councilman Collins.
I do not have a nomination.
Yes, sir. Councilman Maples.
Good.
Okay. Councilman Paul.
Cheryl Ford.
Let me just say this for the record, because Cheryl is sitting here, I think, as Mayor Pro Tem pointed out, and Councilman Morgan, Ms. Bell made a point to express her interest. So I think, obviously, with that nomination, I think it's only fair to ask Cheryl if she's interested in being election superintendent.
At this time, I'm not, I don't think I'll have time to do all this. But I'll be glad to assist however I can, but I can't accept the official title.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So with that, Councilman Palmer, it appears that Cheryl is withdrawing her name for consideration. Any other nominations?
The county, Mitchell County.
So this is for individuals.
The election superintendent of Mitchell County.
Yeah, You have a name, sir?
I'll get you one.
Yeah, well, you're gonna need it here fairly shortly.
That's the title, this position.
Okay, so we're not doing that. All right, so council, what I'm hearing is that we have one nomination for election superintendent for the city of Camilla. One named individual for that. But to ensure that there are no surprises, if you will, as in recent history. As presiding officer of this meeting, I will accept Councilman Palmer's nomination of a person that is titled the county election superintendent here in Mitchell County. We will give that title to whoever that individual is, and trusting that Councilman Palmer can get the name of that individual, and assuming that he's already had a conversation with this individual and he or she is prepared to serve, we will give that name, or that title rather, the consideration. I don't want to wake up in the morning, but anyway. All right. So council, we have two nominees, or two nominations, if you will.
You need her name now. It's Laura Cox. Oh, I'm sorry. She's the superintendent over the whole county.
Got it.
That's the title.
Okay.
All right. What is the name?
Laura Cox, I believe.
No, Councilman Palmer, just to clarify, just need to hear from you.
Laura Cox.
Laura Cox. All right. All right. Any other nominations? All right, council, is there a motion to close nominations for City of Camilla election superintendent? Is there a move? Second. Have a motion for proper second. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor? All right. Nominations are now closed for election superintendent in the City of Camilla. At this time, being the last nominee nominated, we'll start with Laura Cox, who serves now as the election superintendent for Mitchell County, to also become the election superintendent for the City of Camilla. And now, council, again, I am doing this out of a tremendous amount of caution, if you will. I have no idea what the county's charter and or the law of the state says about a person serving in that capacity twice. But because it was brought up, we're going to go ahead and do that. So at this time, council, is there a motion to approve Laura Cox as the election superintendent for the city of Camilla? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion that's been properly seconded. Any discussion? All right, Madam Clerk, for a roll call.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilman Burley,
No.
Councilman Morgan,
No.
Councilman Collins,
Yes.
Councilman Maples,
No.
Councilman Palmer,
Yes.
Mayor votes no, the motion fails. All right, council, is there a motion to appoint Maggie Bell with the amount of $500 per month as the election superintendent for the city of Camilla, effective once all other prerequisites are satisfied? Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion, proper second, any discussion?
Yes, sir. At this time, I'd again just like to read into the record that letter.
Yes, sir.
Interest that was sent to the D1 delegation on January 23rd. It reads, dear members of the City of Camilla District 1 delegation, I am reaching out to express interest in the election superintendent position for the City of Camilla. With over 6 years of experience in electoral organizing and community engagement, I have a proven track record of ensuring fair, transparent, and inclusive elections, a mission I am deeply passionate about. In roles such as Civic Engagement Director, Statewide Volunteer Coordinator, and Lead Youth Organizer for Voting Rights, in civic engagement organizations, I have led programs to register hundreds of voters in Southwest Georgia and created community-centered initiatives to increase voter awareness. This work has included guiding citizens on how to access their voter information through the state's My Voter page, helping them locate their precincts, review sample ballots, and apply for absentee ballots. Staying informed about updates from the Georgia State Election Board and changes to election laws has been a priority throughout my career, enabling me to provide voters with timely and accurate information. I've also overseen comprehensive election protection efforts, including poll monitoring locations, ensuring ADA accessibility, organizing routes to polls, and coordinating real-time responses to election day issues to support eligible voters in casting their ballots. These efforts have required strong organizational skills, attention to detail, and an unwavering commitment to upholding voting rights. As a data-driven professional, I have successfully built and managed teams to execute voter outreach initiatives, recruit and train staff and volunteers, and evaluate program impact. Leveraging data and analytics has been central to my approach, ensuring efficiency and measurable outcomes. These experiences reflect my ability to manage complex systems, collaborate with diverse stakeholders, and remain adaptable under pressure, qualities essential to the election superintendent role. I'm enthusiastic about the opportunity to contribute my expertise in election oversight and community engagement to this position. Thank you for the consideration, and I welcome the opportunity to discuss how my skills and experience align with the needs of this role. Sincerely, Maggie Bill.
All right, thank you very much for getting that in the record, and thank you. All right. Any other comments? All right, Council, again, question is to appoint Maggie Bell as election superintendent for the City of Camilla at $500 a month payment, effective once Ms. Bell has achieved all the prerequisites required to operate in that capacity. All right, we have a motion already, probably second. Any other discussion? All right, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Breen,
Yes.
Councilman Burley,
Yes.
Councilman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Collins,
No.
Councilman Maples,
Yes.
Councilman Palmer.
No.
Motion carries. Thank you, council. Moving on. Final action item for the night, council, is the ARC branch funding. As I mentioned last week, council, we've appointed or set aside $10,000 in ARPA for our ARCH program. And I want to remind you that the ARCH program is part of consideration when we received when we received Plan First designation, which obviously includes $1 million of potential for $1 million of CDBG for the next 3 years. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that everybody recall that clip that's online on Facebook at State Capitol. The reason why that's such a big deal is because the City of Camilla is now eligible for $1 million every single year for the next 3 years. This is because of the investments that we've been making, and some have been discussed in this room tonight. This is huge for our city. That's $3 million that we don't have to raise your taxes for or your utility rates for. This is the good work that we're doing in this town. And the reason why you saw it red on the House of Representatives 4 is because it's a big deal. So this program is part of it. we allocated $10,000 for that. We've used some of that. What I'm asking you to do, council, is that we have about $500,000, $500,000 in the Georgia One Fund. That was part of the MEAC drawdown that we did a couple of years ago. That if we need, the cap would be 10,000. So whatever's left over from ARPA, what I'm asking you to do is to supplement that with the Economic Development Fund that we have at the Georgia One Fund. That's actually gaining interest every single month. There's about $500,000 in there right now, if I recall. So what you're looking at is invest 5,000 out of that 500,000, and at worst, the entire 10,000. But again, this has been again part of what has made us so special down here, because we appreciate the arts, and it's been a good thing for our town. So with that, council, is there a motion to approve the continued funding of the arts grant in a combination of ARPA funds and the Economic Development Fund for a maximum of $10,000 for this calendar year? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion proper second, any discussion? All right, all in favor? All opposed?
Where is this, arts grant, who's supposed to be getting that?
One more time, I'm sorry.
The art grant funding, who's supposed to be getting money?
Yeah, so right now, great question, Councilman. So the way that this particular grant works is that if you, for instance, put on a play or an art show here in the city of Camilla, you have to put that show on, and you have to prove that you put that show on here in the corporate city limits of Camilla, Georgia. Once you've done that, then you can ask the city of Camilla, with your proof, with your bills, can you reimburse me for this play that I put in your city, or this art show that I put in your city, or this film that I filmed in your city, and had an exhibition here in the city of Camilla. So it's a reimbursement grant. We don't give you this money because you say you're going to do some arts here in the city. You got to actually do it, and then come back to us, and we'll reimburse you for half of your cost, with a limit up to $2,500, and depending on the situation, it could be as high as could be as high as 5,000. So that maximum amount is somewhere between 25 and 5,000. So what that means is you would have spent $10,000 to get 5, because that would show that you're pretty serious about the arts here in the city of Camilla. So that's how that would work. Great question. Any other comments? Council, I think I asked for the, I think we had to vote. And that was just a question of nobody. All right, so I don't know if that was a preemptive question prior to the vote. So just to clarify, that none of you do this again, because council maybe needed that clarification before voting, and that's fine. All right, so council, all in favor of approval? All right, thank you. Motion carries. Thank you, council. All right, at this time, I'll turn it over to our interim city manager, Cheryl Ford, for any information from her.
I don't have any on the administrative side, but Luke's got some on the operational side.
Thank you. Just an update on the trees, oak trees on Scott Street has been done. There's one more at the corner of North Scott and East Church Street that we're going to cut. That's been scheduled, as well as 2 in the cemetery. Those are also going to be professionally pruned, along with getting the trees on Broad Street and Scott Street professionally pruned as well. The next update would be the cemetery road improvements. Phase 1, the improvements are going well. the progress is good out there. They graded most of the roads that they're gonna pave out there. They've also rolled them back on, so they're right on track. The Elmini application has been submitted. We're just waiting on GDOT. And then for the lift station, bids, we should have those in the next 30 days.
What's the lift station? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was gonna, it's really great technology, but I was gonna ask, in answering that question, can you also talk about the necessity of this particular project, related to that?
Yeah, so our lift station, that includes, both sewer and stormwater. With this bid is about 14 stations. And that's finalized in our SCADA, hookups to all the stations as well. Right now, we have a few towers and a few pumps, so this is going to encapsulate the whole system. And what SCADA does
Where will it be?
SCADA is all the lift stations, so where all our pumps are. Yeah, the SCADA is located on the tablet that our treatment plant has, and it's also in Public Works office.
Okay. So it's a program that.
Yeah.
What's your
It's a
program?
alert,
Kind of-
so if something goes down, if a pump
You
shuts
know right
down.
there.
Yeah. we know.
Okay.
So if the lift station, goes down a storm for a power outage, we get an alert on that. And that's important, so.
Just asking out information.
14 the total we had.
14 on this project.
That was the one that Scott had identified, so.
We already have SCADA on some of the lift sections, so.
Do you know how many we have total?
I can get an answer for you, but I'll have to go on that. I'll send you it in, sewer and stormwater. Yeah. But on this as well, it's, repairing the rail system, and that's how we pull the pumps, for maintenance. Some of these lift stations are missing all the rails where they have one. Getting the pump up isn't an issue, but getting it down and set in place is where the rails come in, to help us out. Also, that includes a check valve for, the Perry Street storm pump as well. Much needed for that VFD system we have out there. So we don't have so much backflow from all the stormwater.
All right, just 2 quick points. This upgrade, if you will, again, another indication of the type of improvements for the city that we're doing as it relates to our infrastructure. If there's a problem with one of these lift stations, nobody has to be there to see it. They'll be alerted that this problem has happened. But if you don't mind, Luke, I think it's important though, and I think it was the first part of Councilmember Marine's question, is what does a lift station do, if you don't mind?
Thank you. For the blonde in the room, I'm sorry.
It pumps uphill. So
Okay.
water naturally,
So it's a pump.
sewage and water goes
It
downhill.
lifts the
Yeah,
water.
but-
Okay, see, I like that, thank you.
And that sends it, out to our sloughs for stormwater, and for our sewage out to our treatment plant as well as out to our spray fields.
Okay,
So it's a infrastructure chain.
wheels turn, awesome.
Okay.
Thank you. I got that. I see, you were looking at me, you knew I didn't know what it was.
I
But I do now.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
very much.
Yes, ma'am. Everybody just witnessed that, right? I have nothing on the admin side, but I'll turn the loop for the operational side. This is a first for the city of Cabela, everybody. This is working beautiful. Sheriff's been able to concentrate on what's happening here in the building, while Luke is out on the road. We used to have one person to do all of that. And we're doing that now with 2 people for $100,000 less. That's $100,000 we'll have to come to you and ask for. While at the same time compensating Luke and Cheryl for the work that they do. This is good for our city. All right. Any other comments? Let me go around the table real quick before we get to the mayor's announcements. Councilmember Marie.
I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am. No, no.
I'm whispering, Mr.
Oh, no, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Just want to know if you had any final thoughts.
No, sir, I'm good. Thank you for asking.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
I'm good, but I just want to ask Luke about the first phase of the cemetery paving. I think I went by there earlier today, right there by where the Reese's building at, on that side. It looks like I see both of the entries, maybe all three of the entries on that side has a paving, but as I go around to the other side, maybe like over where the trailer park's at, we don't have a paving there as it looked like on the other side. Are they gonna get to that next?
Yeah, the project's in, multiple phases. This is phase one.
Okay, will that be considered as phase one?
That's not phase one, no.
Oh, it's not?
It's not, no. There's 3 entrances in phase one.
Okay, you have 3
entrances in phase one.
Okay.
And the roadmap was, I think we had an announcement, yeah.
A couple of meetings ago.
Okay, all right.
I mean,
I'm
we've been over there, but there's a little bit more of a challenge on.
Yeah,
the
because I
north
see
side.
that, yeah, on the north side of it.
Because it was unpaved cemetery, so the road may potentially be narrow, we got to ensure that we don't, you know.
And that's the third grade on that side.
So that was gonna be a little more.
All right, that answers my question, why we haven't got started on that side.
It's really the plotting.
Yeah.
Of the road.
So that part right there would be a phase 2?
Phase 2, phase 3, yeah, I believe this one need 2 more phases. But yes, it will be done.
Okay.
The job won't be completed until it's all done.
Okay, all right, that's all. And I'm done, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, mine is just, the operational side too, and just that I like to hear that, we are upgrading the equipment and making sure that we have what we need, and making sure that folks are safe. I do know that we've all seen some things happening in other communities where city staff are being harmed while they're at work. So just curious if you believe like our staff have all that they need right now. I know we are big on making sure folks are trained, but just as it comes to equipment and infrastructure, are we all good to go? If you don't have that down, just a food for thought. Just like to know that, we're keeping our employees safe.
Yeah, I mean, they're using PPE out on the roadways. We have a safety coordinator, evaluator, and budget talks are coming up in May, and, we'll bring up any safety equipment, but if they request a need for safety equipment that we don't have, I mean, that's gonna take priority.
Right.
Keep our employees safe, yeah.
Thank you.
And just for folks that would know that the acronym PPE.
Oh, personal protective equipment, APRO, composite toe or safety toe boots. We wear pants when we work out there, just anything that keeps us safe, and then high vis vests or, anti-flat colors when we want to go places for traffic. We also have the flashers for the lights and cones, keep traffic off of them. And then electrical side, the whole, fire retardant clothing, all that.
Councilman Cox. Councilman Biggs.
We have meeting.
Yes, sir. Councilman Paul.
Question.
Yes, sir.
What has been done on Morgan Street, that's the pump over there on Perry, as far as continuing flooding over there to make this pump there, electricity goes out when it needs to be reset or whatever, what has been done to upgrade all of that?
So that's on this bid. The check valve coming in will lower the amount of time the pumps are running. Because when the pump's running, we have to flickering electricity. That's when we get that trip. So if we get the water out of there and stop the backflow, then the pump won't have to run as much. So we'll lower the amount of times it cuts off. And then those SCADA updates will have us notified when to turn it on. Right now, to mitigate the length of time that the pump shut off to have on-call check during storms.
But we don't have a generator.
We don't have a generator. We have quoted a generator, both diesel and, natural gas. So we have quoted one out, actually two out that we can show y'all.
Indeed.
We'll probably add to the budget though.
Yeah.
It's up to us, because they're pretty pricey.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's what we need. To get
That's
that.
it, no power, you don't have a pump.
And that was, part of the reason I'm looking at diesel or natural gas. The fault of the electrical is definitely won't be the highest risk, versus natural gas, which you have to look at issues with that, with, uprooted trees. Diesel will be the safest and most reliable, but it's more costly than the natural gas generators.
I mentioned that, yes, we do the better way to go.
Didn't you tell me we could, remotely start resetting that one? Morgan.
We can't
When we get the
remotely
SCADA?
operate it right now. When we get the SCADA, yeah, you can turn on and off pumps. Yeah. No, if the breaker switches or
Somebody's
slips,
gonna have to.
we'll have to go do it.
I got you.
But, you can remotely operate your equipment or turn on and off pumps with SCADA. That's not a breaker though. Breakers have to be there.
But one of our big problems is having to go there and reset it, right?
Because it's constantly running, because of that backflow. That VFD, we have plenty of horsepower out there, we can move the water quicker than it comes in. But when that pump cuts off, the backflow from that, station is so heavy, it just goes up and is back on the next minute. So that's why we added that check valve. So it wasn't originally on there, but it was added into this, too.
You just come straight back down the pipe.
Yeah.
We should have done, we should have done this.
It should have.
It should.
Right. I don't know what, but you know.
And that causes, the way the station was designed to go down into it, when that water backflows, because there is no check valve, it pushes all the sand and dirt from the storm system back into our rain center pumps and it clogs those up. So having that would, reduce maintenance costs as well.
Great information, great questions. All right, as always, we'll appreciate you. Cheryl, you already know. We appreciate you. Thank you. All right. So council, got word this week that 90% of the gym, the design, the engineering, is complete. And I'm gonna release this probably here in the next week or so. I kind of want to put some music to it. I just wanted to share this with you. So about 90% done. This thing downloads pretty quickly. I'll play it for you. If not, like I said, we'll put it out. We'll put it out next week, so that folks can see it. But this right here is just basically a walkthrough, computer generated walkthrough of the new gym. To give you some indication of what it will look like going forward. And again, the engineering behind it is about 90% complete. While this is downloading, if you guys are interested, I'll go to a couple other things, but it's pretty cool to watch and see this come together the way that it is. Next month, council during the work session, I want to talk about the ARPA funds that we've allocated for the employees. I really want to start getting into the first responders. Trying to identify how we want to give them that extra compensation. We won't be able to do it. Won't be able to do it in the in their hourly rate. It's going to have to be done as some type of quarterly incentive or something, some type of retention incentive, maybe quarterly. And then we'll get into doing that for our other employees, if you will. So we'll start having that conversation next month. Luke mentioned the generator out on for Morgan Parish Street situation. If you don't mind, let's go ahead and have that goal for March's work session. This is something that's obviously, especially the council members over District 2 has pointed out, that's where it sits. This is something that is needed. That needs to happen. And again, even though it's a little pricey, the way that
Got a lot of new real estate there.
well, a lot of new real estate, in addition to some of the citizens, even though it's better than what it has been, still, there's a heavy rain coming in. You guys, the folks have serious anxiety about flooding over there. So this is something that we need. And we got the resources in a few of these accounts that we need to make that capital improvement, that we can actually do that. So we'll be looking at that going forward. We received a certificate of occupancy for New Boys and Girls Club Resource Center here in the city of Camilla. The goal is to have a ribbon cutting late next week, maybe Thursday. We'll get more information on that. So extremely excited about that. And sometime in March, maybe probably about April, we'll probably have the groundbreaking for the gym. So looks like it has downloaded. Again, when I put this out in the public, we'll put a views to it. But for right now, it's just going to give you an idea of what this thing's going to work like.
We need to get somebody to put some music on there.
Yes. This is about 3 minutes. As soon as this is done, I'm going to adjourn the meeting, but have an opportunity to see what we're bringing to this awesome city. Very excited about the learning that's going to be happening in these rooms at the gym. This will be a place of learning in addition to recreation for our kids and our community. You can already tell this is a tremendous upgrade from before. This new gym is going to have showers. Opportunity to change over so you can go to the gym, get your workout on, shower, go to work, or get off work. We're going to be able to have a couple of tournaments happening in this new deal here. And again, everybody, this is related specifically when we're talking about the hotel. there are tournaments happening in this region where our kids are going to Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina to operate in these tournaments. Why can't we have those tournaments right here in the city of Camilla? And when the people come in to enjoy these tournaments, why can't they stay in our hotel downtown and do that? Ladies and gentlemen, the stuff that we're doing in this town is not by accident or happenstance. There has been a tremendous amount of thought that has been generated on how we're going to improve our economy here. And the challenge that I will say to our awesome council members sitting around the dais is that I know for some, I know what you're against. I get it. But starting in March, what I'm asking you to do is that if you have a problem with an idea that has already been developed, come here with yours. Because what we can't do is raise taxes. What we can't do is raise utility rates to generate income. Now, don't get me wrong, over the last 2.5 years, we have reduced government, including what I just talked about with the city manager deal, to the tune of almost $600,000 in the reduction of government. So we're doing our part legislatively to cut down on costs so we don't have to come to you. But at some point, we've got to start generating income. These are some of the ways. It's just not a gym, just to be a gym. A $5.1 million bond. The SPLOST money is already there to be paid, to pay it. $600,000 a year. It's already there. There's almost $1 million sitting there now. This is more than about basketball and gyms and this type of thing. This is about economic development, everybody. Come to these meetings and hear as we progress down this road on why that hotel is important. Why storage is important. Why the stuff that we're doing is important. And at some point, and this is why I enjoy my awesome colleagues around this dais, is that we will have those robust conversations and debates. That doesn't mean that we still can't shake hands and say hello at the end of it, right? It's a brand new year, everybody. It's a brand new year. All right. With that, council, it appears that we have reached the end of our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, I'm really gonna take a break. We want to Miami. Yeah, I'm gonna walk around. Always. Okay.